Hello everyone and happy Tuesday. This is Cheryl, the Craft Nut 32, and I am here today to share with you some fall cards that I made. So I have made a whole stack of cards. I seem to mail out fall cards just like I do Christmas cards, and this is one of my favorite times of year for crafting. These three cards are the main three designs that I came up with for this year. So I thought I would go through them with you and share quickly before I write in them and mail them off and deliver them. So I was really happy with how they turned out. I'm just loving the colors and the designs of the cards that I came up with. So I thought I would start with this card. I love this card. I love all three cards. They are just really pretty. So these flowers, I've cut all of the images from my silhouette. The flowers are just from various flower groups. I went through my library, tried to find out what I used and get the design numbers, but it's just little bits from here and there. So you can create a card similar to this if you desire to do so, with just following maybe the pattern or the color scheme. But it's really easy to put together. I just kept 3 big flowers, 5 little flowers, 3 big leaves, and 5 little leaves, just kind of using those rules of 5s and 3s to kind of balance everything, and I love how it turned out. The one thing I did do was I bought paper from Michael's from their open stock. So it's all cut up and kind of used. This is a Recollections pack, or brown from a pack of paper. These are Recollections paper just from their open stock. And I just love the colors. It doesn't seem like, to me anyways, the colors you get out of the packs are truly like rich enough, or always they're just a little off in the shades. So I decided to go ahead and buy some. The paper was on sale, and so I just loved these shades of color. The exception is, like I said, the background is from a pack, and this little spruce part here is from a pack as well. So what I did is I started off with stamping with this big rubber stamp from My Favorite Things. It's the burlap stamp. And I used some Simon Says Stamp khaki. I started off with the darker color for a couple of them. And the darker one that I used was dark chocolate, but it was just too dark. I wanted something a little bit more subtle. So you can kind of see it's really nice and subtle. I distressed the edge with this distress tool from Tim Holtz, and then I came in with some dark walnut stain, and I just inked up the edge with a blending brush I used the Picket Fences blending brushes and some blending brushes I got off of Amazon. So for around the edge of the leaf, just because they were overlapping, sorry, I'm getting a little tongue-tied, I used some forest moss, and I just used the edge of a really big brush, and it kind of inked it up beautifully. And then for around the edge of these flowers, grab the wrong ink. I have to grab it out of my drawer here. I used some fossilized amber, and that is just to give the edges, because again, I was layering, some nice definition. So you could kind of see each individual petal and it wouldn't blend into itself. So I used some Recollections jewels for the center of these really pretty purple flowers. And for the linen, this white flower here, I used some glitter glue. Recollections also, Studio G. I think it's the same thing. I got it out of a bin years ago. It's lasted forever. And I just liked that the yellow kind of tied it back to the yellow of the big sunflower. So I have this stamp set I've had forever. It's Falling Leaves paper tray ink. It's, I don't know, at least 8 or 9, if not 10 years old. And I used the Happy Fall for that. And then I think I also used some Simon Says Stamp. Did I grab it? I did. Black ink for the sentiment. And so that is the first card. Really cute and pretty. Not so much cute, but really pretty. I cut, this is a standard A2 size card, and I cut 1/16, I think, just shy around the edge. So once it was distressed, I love the white border. So I'm Canadian, and I think it's 1/16 of an inch. Just not 1/8, but one smaller than 1/8. Anyways, if I'm wrong, I apologize. Let me know down in the comments if you're American and if I got it right, or if I got it wrong, please let me know. I'm forever trying to reference before I make videos, and I didn't for this one. So there is card number 1. Just kind of move everything off to the edge. Card number 2, I love how this card turned out. It's so bright and vibrant. It is one of my, I think, favorite cards all time. I love the first card, and when I made it, I was like in love with it. I made this card after, and I think I'm more in love with this card. So the sentiment is the same, Happy Fall from Paper Tray Ink. And this image is just called Leaf. I cut it from my silhouette. I decided to use black for the frame. It's a really pretty design. There's a whole bunch of them. I suggest you go and look if you're interested. Lots of beautiful images. This one is created by Wild Pilot, and they had so many beautiful images. Because I like to mass produce, I just got one of them. But I mean, in the future, if I decide to make any more cards, or maybe for next year, just beautiful images. They cut beautifully as well, so that's always something to keep in mind. So it is an outline of a leaf, but I used the offset feature and just brought it down to 0. And I created a solid leaf background so I could layer the black leaf onto and I used white for that. I could layer them and they would be the same size. So that white piece of paper, I then pulled out my distress inks and I got the new Crackling Campfire. It is beautiful. I used mustard seed. I used some peeled paint with a little bit of forest moss, kind of going from like the darker to the lighter green, just into the yellow. And these 5 colors blend so beautifully together, and against the white background, it is just beautiful. Also with this card, I did use some, everyone's favorite, at least my favorite, Wink of Stella. And I'm not sure if you can see, there it is, a little bit right in here. So all of the black outlines I glittered up, and it just is so pretty. And then I added, which I seem to do all the time lately, these really pretty little heart sequins. And I stuck with just the black because it was such a clean looking card that I decided just to leave it be. I didn't want to fiddle too much more and kind of detract from the beauty of these beautiful inks and how it all came together. So for these beautiful leaves, I used my blending brushes again, and it blended beautifully. So super happy with how this card turned out. So my second card, so this was my first, I think this was my second, this was my third in order of creating, but in sharing, this is my third card. I'm going to grab a different one because I didn't quite glue, that F is a little crooked and it's bothering me. So this one is a better example. So really pretty. I used those exact same 5 inks. Although I don't think I used a whole lot of the forest moss. So really just the 4 inks, and I kind of went from the green, blending down into the orange. I have the Crackling Campfire up here. Sorry, Crackling Campfire kind of going into red. So love this one too. Love those color combinations. The Hello is 2 fonts actually I welded together. It is the Swirl Font for these little nice little swirls, and it's the Grassy Meadow font. So I just really, I put the tails right to the H and to the O, and I welded it, and then I used the offset. Actually, I don't think I welded it. I used the offset window, and I just make it a little bit bigger. I find it cuts a little cleaner when it's slightly bigger. The Grassy Meadow is actually the Hello that I used. And I forgot about the Fall. And I think this fall, I will have to get back to you. Sorry, it's just not popping up really quickly like I thought I would. I thought I had everything saved. And it is ink free. So just a nice clean, I wanted just a different kind of text underneath. Again, I used some Wink of Stella. There it is on the hello and on the fall. And then this time I put it together. I used the offset window and I used some vellum to create that there's a little bit of a border. It shows up really nicely in person. It's not showing up so much on my camera that I can tell. And then again, I added some sequins. I used my distress tool and some walnut stain just around the edge. And again, it's 1/16 inch of an A2 size card, which my base is an A2 size card. So really pretty. I love how this card turned out. It was really quick to make, which I always love. Oh, the stencil. It's not clean very well. With all of the cards that I had made, the wipe that I was using was really getting saturated in ink. So this is called Autumn Leaves Stencil. And I'll leave all of the ID numbers for these cuts in the description bar below if you're interested. And this is a stencil that I made using that image. Really quick and easy. This stencil literally costs maybe $1.50. And so if you're interested in making your own stencils, let me know and I can walk through a tutorial of how I make mine if you're interested. But it is something so quick and easy to do that's so cost effective and really does just expand your stash. Can't say enough good things about making your own stencils. So that was the background stencil that I used with the inks to create this card. So these are the cards that I am about to fill out and then mail off. I'm really happy with them. Lots of fun making them. I have had several crafty days over the last little while. Today it's really rainy. My boys are learning from home through this pandemic, so they're working in the basement, so I'm kind of hanging out, just keeping my eye on them here and there through the day and just being available if they need help. So what a better way to spend time while they're busy than sitting at my desk crafting. And so that is the cards for today. And thank you so much for watching, and I hope you're having a great day. Till next time, bye.